Today we're diving into the Retroid Pocket Classic 6, Retroid's latest vertical handheld that's been making waves in the retro gaming scene. And as a big fan of the Anbernic RG ARC, I was very excited to see another 6-button layout design, this time from Retroid. And as we get started, if you're new here to Bo Knows Gaming, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any more handheld reviews, tips, and gaming nostalgia. Now let's jump right in talking about the design. Straight out of the box, this thing screams premium retro vibes. It's got that classic Game Boy inspired vertical form factor with a sleek shell that comes in a variety of fun colors like the Pikachu edition some people are raving about. The build quality feels solid in your hands, has a nice weight distribution, no creaks or flexing, and even though it's on the larger side, you can slip this into most pockets for on-the-go gaming. The 3.92-inch AMOLED screen is an absolute standout. This 1240 by 1080 resolution 60Hz display has vibrant colors and deep blacks. I mean, this is a true AMOLED experience. It is one of the best displays in a vertical handheld, and I don't think there's any debate there. Playing Pokemon or Panzer Dragoon on this thing feels like a dream. It has an active cooling system here on the back that keeps things chilled during longer sessions, even though it does have a bit of a whine as it gets going. And that 5000 mAh battery with 27 watt fast charging, by the way, which is awesome, means you're good for hours of emulation without hunting for an outlet. Under the hood, the specs are no joke. It's powered by a G1 Gen 2 chipset, an 8-core Cryo CPU with 2 performance cores and 6 efficiency cores, paired with an Adreno A12 GPU. You have options for 4GB or 6GB of LPDDR4X RAM. I'm testing the 6GB model here. You also have options for 64 or 128GB of onboard storage, expandable via a TF card slot. It has Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 5.1, and runs on Android 14 with official over-the-air updates. The mono speaker in the bottom left corner delivers a very nostalgic 90s sound. It's actually one of the best mono speaker experiences that I've ever seen, or rather heard. And the controls are very responsive with a great D-pad for precision platformers or fighting games, some tapered back trigger buttons, and of course on this model that 6 face button design. I do find the face buttons to be slightly loud though, and you can hear that here. They're pretty clackety, and this is me talking just at my normal volume at about the same distance from the microphone as the buttons. And you can hear how loud they are. So they're not exactly quiet, but they do have a great travel distance and the inputs always seem to register. This setup punches way above its weight for retro emulation. I've thrown everything from NES classics to Game Boy Advance, Sega Saturn, PSP, Dreamcast. It handles all that stuff flawlessly with buttery smooth frame rates. It's honestly quite exceptional for the price because it can even tackle some PS2 and GameCube emulation, in many cases without breaking a sweat. Now this is a solid performer, and if you're looking for the cheapest way to get an OLED handheld, this is it. It retails for $129 flat. Plus tax and shipping, of course, but still, that's a very respectable price for what you get in this package. It even pairs seamlessly with wireless earbuds or controllers if you want to expand your setup. But here's where my opinion starts to diverge a bit from the hype. Now don't get me wrong, this is a solid device that looks fantastic and performs like a champ for what it is. However, the lack of analog joysticks really holds it back in my opinion. This thing is overpowered for purely D-pad-centric retro games. You're paying for hardware that could handle more modern 3D titles or analog-heavy systems like N64 or GameCube, but without sticks, it's just not practical for those systems. And when you consider that limitation, at $129, it does start to feel a little overpriced. Why drop that much money on a beast like this when it's essentially optimized for 2D classics? Now, you could pair a controller, however, this does not have a video out. So you'll be stuck with this tiny screen sitting on a table or something, and that's just not a great way to play. And when you start to look at it that way, as a 2D D-pad-centric retro handheld, recommending it becomes a little trickier. I immediately begin thinking about the extremely well-built and affordable Anbernic RG 35XX Pro, which does have dual sticks, and I reviewed right up here. Or one of my personal favorites, the wonderful Trim UI Brick, which has great performance, a high-resolution display, is much more portable, and has RGB lighting. I mean, look at that, for about half the price of the Retroid Pocket Classic. Now, do those have OLED displays? No. Do they run Android or play PS2 games? Also no, but they do run all your retro D-pad games perfectly at a fraction of the price. Again, there's nothing against the Classic 6 here. If you're all about that vertical D-pad life, this definitely nails it. The pros are it has a stunning AMOLED display, it has powerful emulation up to some PS2 levels, solid inputs, Android apps, long battery life, and a premium feel that outshines some cheaper plastic competitors. But there's also cons. There's no joysticks, and that makes it feel underutilized and overpriced. The face buttons are pretty loud. There's no video out. The fan isn't obnoxiously loud to me, but it does have a noticeable whine to it. Maybe you can hear that here. And honestly, the software setup on Android does require some tinkering for optimal emulation, which will be a frustration to some people, especially if you're new to this hobby. Compared to alternatives, there are more affordable options that do D-pad retro games just as well without the extra power, that are perfect for purists who don't need the overkill. But the Retroid Pocket Classic 6 is a beautifully designed handheld that excels, and I do mean that, at retro gaming and sets a high bar for screens and performance in this vertical category. Whether or not it's overpowered and overpriced is kind of up to you and what you're looking for. And if you decide to pick one up, I have affiliate links in the description below. Stay kind and encouraging out there, and I'll catch you on the flippity flip.